Hi, I'm Jeff Gunn, and I work in post-production sound in television and movies. And in particular, what I do is Foley. Foley is just one of the many recorded sounds they use while making a movie or television show. There's a sound they record while they're filming. That's called production sound. And that's mainly used for the actor's dialogue and when they're speaking. There's also what they call loop groups. Now these loop groupers, as they're known, are professional voice actors that specialize in doing background kind of mumbling and talking. They don't really want you to hear what they're saying. They just want it to just sound real. And so there's just chatter in the background, and this is their job. This is all they do, is go in and record themselves. Okay, well, and just all this together. And then they also watch the actors and try to kind of do vocals as they see the actors, or the background actors are kind of doing expressions as well, and try to match that. You know, if they're in a restaurant or if they're in a nightclub or a library, they try to match the tone of what is in the scene. Now the editor will also use a lot of different other recorded sounds, pre-recorded sound effects like an explosion or a car crash, big sounds that they have to record and kind of just get, you know, or a computer beep. Little things too that are electronic that you kind of have to that are always sound the same. It can be just put anywhere. And then there's the music. Sometimes you have a song where like the character's getting ready to go to the big dance and it's your favorite songs playing when they're doing it, and you're like, yeah. And they'll put that in there. And then they also have the score where somebody will sit down and watch the film on a monitor and play the song or play the music while they're watching it, kind of write it even as they go sometimes, like that. And then there's Foley, which is what I do. Now Foley is kind of like the ADR, but instead of me watching the screen trying to say what they're saying as they say it, I'm watching their feet, and I'm doing footsteps with shoes that are similar to what shoes they're wearing, and walking on a surface that's similar to what they're wearing, and I watch them on screen and walk in place in sync with them. So when you see it at home, it'll sound like that's them walking. Because when they're shooting it, they're really just trying to get the dialogue. They're not really worrying about the feet. The mic, usually they use either a mic by their right here, or they use a big boom mic that's pointed at their mouths. So there's no real attention paid to some of these other things, like maybe picking up a glass or breaking a glass or drinking out of a glass. All those little things I'll add in and in sync. And I try to get as close as I can to doing it like they do it. And if I need a little nudge to get it right in sync, then the editor will do that. Then when I'm done, and when the editor gets all of those elements of sound, he'll place them all together on an application called Pro Tools. And he'll get them all organized and placed together and fit in so they all run in sync with the picture. Then he'll send it to the mix stage, and they'll take all those tracks of sounds, like 50, 100, however many there are, and they will mix them all down so they sound real natural and smooth, and some stuff's up in the front that you hear, some stuff's in the back, and they're real artists at doing that. And they know how to just make everything blend together. And then you have a sound for a movie. I never chose Foley as a career path. I went to film school and learned all about film, every aspect of it. And then when I went to get a job, the first job I got was in a post-production sound place, which I knew some about. So I started out as an assistant there, and then I saw that Foley was like, seemed like the coolest job. It's kind of like playing in a sandbox. I got to like break stuff and throw stuff and bang stuff to make sounds. So I became an editor, but then I just gradually started learning how to do Foley, and it took me a long time. It's something that you almost have to have an apprenticeship at. You have to learn kind of as you go. There's no real school for it. You can go to film school and learn some about it, but it's one of those things you kind of have to do for a while to do it. And it's a job where it's good to be creative. It's a physical job where you're using your body to all these different things. And there's high eye-hand coordination involved, which when I was younger, I never had. So for all you out there that don't think they have very good coordination, that's something that can come along with work. Now, let me give you a quick tour of Foley. This is one of the stages I work on. As you can see, it kind of looks like one of your friend's dad's messy garages. But all these things in here that look like junk are things I use to make sound with. Some of them I use the exact same thing, and some of them I use something completely different to make the sound. To make the sound of grass, sometimes I use this. This is old sound tape, and I crumple it up, and it has a real crunchy kind of sound to it. Then I'll put it down on the ground and walk on it. And if I want to make it sound a little more crunchy, I'll add some leaves. Rocks and gravel. Sandy beach. I'm going to show you a couple clips of me actually doing Foley. Okay, ready? Okay, 10. All right. Mm-hmm. Cool. The one thing that I still really want to do, though, is work on a Marvel movie. That would be pretty awesome. And if I could give any advice to anyone that thinks that this looks cool and wants to do it, I would say if you're interested in film and movies and all of that, or if whatever you're interested in, I would say stay broad, try to learn about everything involved, because you never know where you'll end up. You never know exactly what might pop out at you. I never thought about Foley when I was going to film school, but it just kind of popped out at me, and I was ready. I knew a little bit about it, and again, I had to kind of work at it after the fact, but it worked out pretty well. So I would say always keep an open mind, and when you do find a passion for something, find something in that passion. Because when you like it and you love it, you're going to do it better. And when you do things better, success will probably follow.